Welcome to Main Street Minds with your host, Amish Munshi. This is where industry leaders and seasoned pros share their secrets to success beyond limits. Let's dive in.
Hello and welcome to Main Street Minds. Today we have a very special guest, Jim Owen, over here with us, and I'm very excited because right from childhood I've always loved racing, and Jim is at the mecca of the places for racing within US, uh, and looking forward to learning more about what's happening in Indiana and the surrounding markets, and learning more about everything that Jim has to offer us. So. Thanks for taking your time on a busy day and sharing your journey with us. So tell us how did you get started in real estate?
Well, I appreciate you inviting me and having me on. Basically, um, I'd had a couple really successful careers in um, uh, the commercial field, and then as well as being self-employed in the technology sector. And my wife had floated the idea of she wanted to become a real estate agent. She's always had a passion for it. She used to work in the banking industry, and so she kind of wanted to get over onto the real estate side instead of being on the banking side. And we had just found out that we were expecting a granddaughter. So I was kind of tired of traveling a lot,
Yeah.
and I thought that incorrectly that being a real estate agent as opposed to being in the real estate industry and other roles that I had been for years, um, I thought it would give me more time at home. Um, And what it's done is it's given me more control over my time. But we've enjoyed a lot of success. So I'm probably working more than I used to, but we're able to prioritize our work-life balance and spend more time with the families. So it's been a blessing.
Yeah, that is really amazing, and it's amazing what kids and grandkids can do to us, right? Like when we start off our life, trying to get that first job, we're like, oh, we are probably never going to get married. Then we're like, oh, we're never going to have kids. And then the next thing, the same with goes with people buying a house. Like, oh, it's too expensive to buy a house. Then they buy a house. Oh, this is normal. 5, 10 years later, and then person is like, maybe we can buy a second house, or they move. And then they buy investment homes, and then they invest into funds and syndicates and real estate. And it's amazing, uh, like a lot of mentors say, hey, you should have long-term goals. But yeah, it's great to have long-term goals, but many people don't even realize just how much they end up achieving in life in the long run. So that, and just like I think you have a great journey with very successful transition. A lot of people are not even able to do this transition. So tell us some of the hurdles or issues or things that you had to overcome to make this whole transition happen.
Well, like I said, we had been self-employed in the past, so the major hurdle that most real estate agents have a hard time getting over the hump is the inconsistent pay. You know, um, uh, so um, so we that was a hurdle that we didn't have to overcome. So that made our transition a little bit easier. And we had a lot of things in place, from being self-employed previously that kind of helped us out as well. But the stuff that we had to overcome was, at first, just not having any lead source.
Yeah.
No lead source. At my old job, we really didn't have to advertise a whole lot because we were in a high demand business. Not that real estate's not high demand, but um, a lot of real estate agents have been in the business for years and years, and so they have a sphere of influence that people just keep coming back to them. So the only thing that we really had was um, I was really fortunate that a friend of mine that we'd been neighbors with for years. He actually called me out of the blue. He had just become a real estate agent and said, "Hey, if I'm a real estate agent now, if you're looking to buy or sell." And I said, "Oh, what a coincidence." I said, "I'm taking my test tomorrow." And this was, 7 or 8 years ago. And he's like, "Oh, great." He goes, "You need to come work, with me, yada yada." So, long story short, I never got an interview, never got a tour of the office. I just went in and everything kind of clicked, signed on the dotted line, and I was an agent with Century 21. Um, and that the first year or two we kind of feasted off of company created leads, and then as we started to get better at what we were doing, we very quickly realized that we weren't in the real estate business, that we were in the relationship business. Um, so I switched gears pretty quick because I had a huge database of people I had known for years, friends, family, prior business associates. So we took a stab at doing some different marketing, and we landed with a really good marketing company that, as we got busier, started moving things off of our plate. So that was probably, beyond just those initial growing pains, that was probably the biggest challenge for us was, finding vendors that we could trust um, to move stuff off of our plate so that we could continue to engage with clients and, buyers, sellers, and just try to grow our business.
Yeah, yeah, that's a very important point. I think when somebody's getting started in the real estate business, there is just so much to do, right? I think I think most other businesses are a little more streamlined, although real estate is streamlined, but there is still just not enough help there is not enough helping hand to say, okay, this is the path to follow.
Mhm.
And if you're trying to do it all by ourselves, then I mean, that's probably the reason a lot of realtors just fail, right? They just, majority of them fail because they just don't have the right mentorship or guidance on what they should be doing. The focus is customers, clients, buyers, sellers, right? Everything else can fall in place. Don't like it just happens.
No, absolutely. And I had a couple really good mentors, as I, started my journey.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I'll never forget, the first open house I did with one of my mentors in the office. And it's always funny when I say mentor because, this particular guy is younger than I am,
Yeah,
so you usually think of a mentor as somebody who is, older, wiser, but he'd been um, in the industry for a number of years, and he was kind of groomed by his dad, who had been a real estate agent for a very long time. But yeah,
yeah,
one of the first things that I really took to heart was I did an open house with him in my first 30 days of being licensed,
yeah,
and just the attention to detail that he had for his open house. Because it had snowed that day in Indiana, and we arrive at the open house and it was empty, so unoccupied. But there was, he's looking in the garage and he can't find a shovel to shovel the sidewalk so that people aren't walking through the snow.
yeah,
And so just his attention to detail, he took his open house sign out of the ground, flipped it over, and used the open house sign to shovel the sidewalk.
yeah,
So that was a very early impression on me that, not only the attention to detail, but realtors have to find sometimes unconventional ways to get things done, not only in the transaction, but just,
yeah.
operationally every day.
Yeah, that is amazing. And it's the attention to details and the service mindset, right? Saying, hey, how do I take care of my customers, my buyers?
Mhm.
They are coming in with a lot of questions with like what is going to happen. They're trusting us with a very, very important decision in their life.
No, absolutely. And, as I mentioned, a little bit earlier in our conversation, I stick by that statement that, buy and sell in real estate is all about building relationships.
Yeah.
Because if the people that you're working with at the end of the day don't trust you,
Hmm.
it could potentially not be a smooth transaction.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So tell us more about what's 7 to 8 years of business look like? Like, was it a slow transition or was it based on market?
Um, well, I entered just before COVID hit.
Hmm.
So our first year was good, for a new agent. I was, really, I think I passed my test in January and, got the green light from the state of Indiana, mid-February. So by the time I went through just kind of that first 30 days of getting acclimated to all the systems at the office, I didn't really start, hit the ground running with, getting leads and showing houses and things of that nature, probably until,
Mhm.
the end of March, early April. But even with, only having, 8 months under my belt, that first year I did $3.5 million. Uh,
Mhm.
so not bad for a rookie, considering when you consider the average agent, and I don't know, I think the number was 24, 25 transactions that year. Um, Not bad considering the average agent nationwide at that point in time was doing, I want to say 11 transactions a year for, $1.5 million or so.
Wow.
So yeah, it was a good start for me. And then that quickly snowballed with, um, even with only just having, less than a year under my belt, what I was surprised was, how many referrals I got out of those first 20 to 24, um, contacts that I'd worked with that first year. So, year two snowballed into 5 million, and then I think 5 million again, and then 9, in year four, and then 15 and 15. So yeah, so we've really enjoyed a lot of success, and like I said, we've tried to base it off of referrals and repeat business, and our sphere of influence, and just kind of building our network out to, and it's not that we don't like leads. We like meeting new people all the time and working with them. Matter of fact, I just took a call today of somebody that, we met at an open house a year ago,
Mhm.
and basically just kind of started that relationship. And I didn't get his contact information, but apparently he knows who I am, and he actually called me today and said, "Hey," he goes, "we met about a year ago, and I really
Yeah.
like what you're saying, and how you guys do business." And so here in the next couple weeks, we're gonna sit down and possibly we're gonna do a presentation and show them how we list a house. So
Yeah.
um excuse me. So yeah, I mean, you just never know when a connection you've made, whether
Mhm.
an open house or, I got in contact, going to Notre Dame last weekend. We stopped in a restaurant and just happened to have a real estate conversation, with the owner, and he says, "Hey, I want to have a conversation with you." So we're pretty deliberate in, um, we don't push and say, "Oh yeah, I'm a real estate agent." That's not, we don't talk about, buying and selling houses all the time. We talk about, hey, what's the relationship, and hey, what are your personal goals, and what can we do to help your family? So,
Yeah, yeah, that is amazing. Uh, and so just coming to the current market situations, like what are you seeing right now? Are you seeing more listings, more buyers? What's happening in the market?
well, we have a good mix of buyers and sellers right now. I think we've got a total of 7 or 8 listings that
Mhm.
are in various stages of, a couple of them are active, a couple of them are, under contract and pending. So
Mhm.
we've got about 7 or 8 listings that are in various stages. And then we've probably got another, um, I'll just ballparking it, maybe 10 to 15 people that are what I consider active, meaning that they're looking at attending a showing with me on a regular basis. So once every week, every 10 days, somewhere in there. If somebody's not looking every week or two, I don't consider them to be active. I consider them to be, um, just kind of
Okay.
checking the market out. We're not in a huge hurry. We're just trying to find the right fit. And we work with everybody. I tell everybody 2 things. Um, Purchasing a house is a marathon. It's not a sprint. Unless your lease is up in 30 days,
Yeah.
then it's a sprint. And we work on our client schedule. Um, there's a lot of agents that are just interested in getting to the closing table. And, I tell everybody, we need to make sure that you're comfortable every step of the way, that it's a house you love, that we do the inspection, that we get the appraisal, that we do everything to try to make this not only the smoothest transaction for you, but also as thorough as possible to make sure that you're getting into a house, whether it's a new construction or 50 years old, that you're comfortable with, becoming the homeowner of that house.
Yeah, yeah. It's a big decision for most people. And the impact it has on a person's life is just tremendous, right? Like
Hmm.
it's a big financial decision, yes, but the even the non-financial aspect of what a house enables somebody to do just gives the peace of mind, calling a place their own, or even if they've owned a house, if they're moving to a larger or a smaller or a different area, the impact it ends up having to a person's life is just yeah, incredible.
Absolutely.
So, tell us more about what are some of the things that you like to do outside of real estate? Like, what do you like? What are your hobbies and passions?
Um, well, probably the two biggest things. Uh, uh, Spending, and one of the reasons why we got into real estate was so that I wasn't having to ask somebody every time we wanted to take a vacation.
Yeah.
We plan it now when we want to go. We make sure our clients are taken care of if we're going to be out of town. That's why we have a team. So that if I know, like here next week, I'm going to take a 3-day business trip to Colorado. And because my wife is also a licensed agent, she's going to take care of the bulk of what needs to happen while I'm gone. But, I also have a couple of key members on my team that, can take care of showings for me and can attend a closing for me and do all of those things that need an in-person agent to do, when I'm out of town. So number one, just, being able to get away. We take, one or two family vacations every year, which, when we had been in other jobs, um, was a priority. But, sending that request to a boss and saying, hey, I need this week off. And then they say, well, that's not going to happen because, and,
Yeah.
so that's number one, is being able to spend time with the family when we want to do it and that kind of stuff. Number two, I'm a huge Notre Dame football fan, even though I went to a different college. Um, my uncle got his PhD from Notre Dame, so he had season tickets for years, and we were very fortunate to get those tickets. So I take my granddaughter and my kids as often as I can to Notre Dame football games. And then the last thing is me and my granddaughter on the golf course. Um,
Oh,
yeah, she didn't really. I mean, I've been a golf aficionado my entire life. Never really pushed, our granddaughter, who's 8 now, to want to golf. But we actually live in a subdivision that has a golf course.
oh, perfect.
So we were, and I'd taken her just so she could ride along in the car, on the cart when she was
Yeah.
like, 3 years old, 4 years old, whatnot. Last year, we're pulling into our neighborhood and she sees the golf course and she just out of the blue, she's like, Papa, she goes, when am I getting my set of clubs? And I was like, really? I'm like, you
Yeah.
you want to learn how to golf? And she said, yeah. So we got her golf clubs for her birthday, and
Perfect.
I've been teaching her how to play ever since.
Yeah, that is the sweetest part of
Hmm.
like kind of I know a lot of people say achievement is like hey you've reached a specific stage of
Hmm.
a number or a goal or something, but just the ability to have that level of happiness in something that's happening around you
Hmm.
is I think the best kind of measurement of success, I would say.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So yeah, and even like I think my daughter is just 7, so I think it's about time I should take her golfing. It's I went golfing after 5 years. Like
Oh, really?
then I was like, oh man, what's going on? Like when the kids are young, we just stay busy with regular daily chores, and I think
Hmm.
now is the time to have more fun with them.
No, absolutely. And I used to, when me and the guys used to golf, it was a very competitive,
Yeah.
environment. But, now, with, the industry that we're in and just, busy lifestyles and, particularly with the advent of, smartphones and just technology everywhere. It's changed a little bit for me over the years, and the fact that now I just like getting on the golf course so I can shut off my phone for a few hours,
Yeah.
spend some time with our granddaughter. Both of my boys, like to golf as well. So, yeah, it's just, I don't think I'm going to get either one of our two girls to go golfing, but, they enjoy doing other stuff. So,
Yeah, that's amazing. So as we come closer to the end of this episode, you did mention that you have a team, which is a few other agents and your wife. Like what where do you see yourself in the future? Like, are you looking to expand your team, or are you looking to continue doing more production and more client focused?
no, we're, I talked to my wife Christy periodically about this, and my marketing team would disagree with me. Um, you know, um, our goal, with the team and with the marketing we're doing, is not to increase sales.
Mm-hmm.
Because people have asked, so why don't you get licensed in a neighboring state, or why don't you get licensed in Florida? Which a couple people in my office have done, and I just tell them quite frankly, number one, um, it's already I'm already busy enough just in the 10 counties we service in Northeast Indiana, so I don't want to spread myself thinner and not give great customer service. But at this point, I'm really trying to build the business so that um, even though we still get leads from the office, and we still get people that call me because they've seen an advertisement or a social media post or whatever, we're really just trying to build the business so that we go from being 60 or 70% referral based
Mm-hmm.
to being closer to 100%
Mm-hmm.
referral based, and we'll never quite get all the way there, which I'm fine with. But yeah, I really want to build that database and those relationships so that the business almost becomes self-sustaining, so that in another 5 years or 10 years, whenever I decide to slow down, and I'll probably never fully retire because I love what I do.
Yeah.
But I'll be 60 in a few years. I might slow down a little bit, but I want to be able to, hand it off to my daughter who's, working on getting her license now,
Mm-hmm.
and basically just make it so that, I can switch into a managing broker role and
Yeah.
still do this a little bit, still build the relationships and still, have an active hand in the day-to-day stuff, but be able to take a step back and be more of a coach, and a manager for the people that are on the team, and kind of take a step back and enjoy retirement a little bit more.
Yeah, yeah, that is amazing. So it's always good to have that nice vision and have a family. Like I think that's really very special. Having a family, be in the same business and kind of grow it and grow it through multiple generations. Like that is almost magical.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so that I would like to end this episode with that special moment. But just before we conclude, what's the best way people can reach you?
Um, uh, all sorts of ways, but obviously my cell phone is probably the best.
Okay.
Call or text me at 260 348 4500. Or you can go to Owen Real Estate Group
Mhm.
FW.com, and go to the contact page. You can see all the services that we provide, our current listings, testimonials, and obviously you have the contact page.
Yeah, and it's a beautiful website. So definitely visit there. I was just on the website before just speaking with you, and it's a extremely well designed website. I love it, and especially like the Zillow showcase and everything that you do for your clients is like very special. Very few people do it. So
Mhm.
if you're in the Indiana northeastern region, reach out to Jim. You're going to be in very good hands.
All right. Well, thank you. Appreciate the time and inviting me on.
Thanks, Jim. Have a good day.
Yep, you too.
That's a wrap on today's episode of Main Street Minds. Want to share your journey with our audience? Head over to mainstreetmindspodcast.com/guest to apply.